where parents or other elderly people might go to live. So before I talk a lot about what Kyle said, what are your experiences with nursing homes in Russia? I'm curious to hear. What are nursing homes like in Russia? Did anyone understand my question?
Это у меня что-то со звуком.
Anyone, anyone, everyone. It's a question for everyone.
What are nursing homes like in Russia, right? That's the question.
Who has been to a nursing home in Russia?
Да. Yes. Nursing homes.
Have any of you ever... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Перевод хороший на русский. Частный санаторий. Google переводчик дает.
Google переводчик может не помочь в таком вопросе. What are nursing homes like in Russia?
What? Where do the people live in a nursing home in Russia? What is it like? What type of a building is there? What do they look like?
Как они выглядят?
Is it one building? Is it many buildings? Where do the people live?
So usually it's one building. Includes many, not a room. It looks like a hospital.
Yes.
Hospital, not
yes. Yes.
There, people have one big room for each.
For how many?
One big room for food, for each.
One big room for...
To eat.
Oh, I see.
Where
yes.
people eat.
It not joint. It's a sad place.
Yes, it's a sad place. Yes,
sad place.
It's not joyful or happy. It's not a happy place. And let's see, Sergey, where do people usually sleep in a nursing home?
Usually people sleep in своих.
Their own. Their own.
Room. Her own room. In one room, usually it's up to 4 or 5 people.
Okay. And let's see, Vasily, do the people in a nursing home have their own belongings? Do they have? So Vasily, do the people who live in nursing homes have their own things? Belongings or possessions, things, maybe books, maybe maybe pictures, things that belong to them.
Of course.
Okay.
I think what they have pictures,
Yes.
free time.
Are the books theirs, or do they belong to the nursing home? Do they take the books with them?
Home.
Okay. So they don't necessarily, they maybe don't have their own things.
Of course.
They also have their own things? Personal belongings?
I understand. I do understand the question. No, they have they have own things.
Yes, they have their own things.
How the people?
Yeah, yes, they have to have something.
They have right.
Yes, they have the right to have their own things.
Yes.
They have the right. Yes. Yelena, have you visited anyone in a nursing home before? Yelena, are you there?
I understand.
I'll type it also. Have you visited anyone in a nursing home before? So have you gone to a nursing home to visit someone? Do you know someone who was in a nursing home?
No. I have never been there.
So maybe to tell you a little bit about American nursing homes, some of them sound similar to Russian nursing homes, but I don't think I've ever heard of a nursing home where there were 4 to 5 people in a room. In America, usually there are 1 to 2 people in a room. They also have a large dining room, like I believe it was Svetlana said that there's a large dining room in Russia also. So there is one big dining room usually, and the ones that are run not as well are also very sad places, like in Russia. Some nursing homes, though, have what they call assisted living facilities. And some of these have separate houses. So they may have one central building where there are 1 to 2 people per room, a large dining room, maybe a living room. But it is a little bit like a hospital. But sometimes these centers also have small houses where people who can do more for themselves live, and a nurse from the central facility can go help them every day. Does that make sense? Or did I speak too quickly? Do you understand?
Understand all.
Not all. What didn't you understand, Svetlana? What should I explain?
What about small house?
Okay. Some very...
For more place? For more money?
I'm not sure how much it costs. It may cost more, but usually it depends on how well the person can take care of themselves. So how well can the person take care of him or herself? So if a person can do more for themselves, if they can maybe, if they can walk better, they may have the opportunity to live in a house because they don't need help to walk. So if they can walk, they may be able to live in a house. Some people need help to walk anywhere, and they cannot be as independent. Yes, I think that all of the nursing homes that I know of are private. There aren't any government nursing homes that I know of. Does that make sense, Svetlana?
I don't understand.
About the houses? You do or you don't yet?
You asked
about the houses.
About small houses?
Yes.
No, in Russia, usually not small houses, or
pensioners maybe, or retired people. Yeah. Retired people.
Because in the small house, sometimes people can live in their own house, and a nurse will come to their own house to maybe cook for them. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's the situation because we don't have a private. Эти заведения не вызвали слово. Где оно исчезло.
Do you think that
if we have a private house, maybe it life of the people not be more comfortable.
Yes. Sometimes the people who live in nursing homes are there because they are very weak and they need someone with them all the time. So when families can't stay home all the time, the option is either a nursing home or the hospital. But hospitals are not for a long period of time, and so a nursing home is a place where a person can have care 24/7. That means all the time, all night and all day, the whole week, without being in a hospital. But sometimes, like you said, in America, the nursing homes are just as depressing and sad as hospitals, especially when some people never get visits. Many of the elderly people who live in nursing homes very seldom have visits. Yeah. Well, do you have other questions, or shall we move to another topic?
Yeah, let's move on, maybe.
I think. So I saw. Let's see. Yelena and Svetlana both said, Vasily said, he had different questions. Okay, so Yelena and Svetlana both talked about punishing children, so, or paying children for work. So Vasily and Sergey, since you didn't address this question, do you pay your children for work?
It was question, but
It is. Do you pay your children for homework? To do their homework?
No, I don't pay my children for homework. No. Константин, как правильно сказать, не плачу деньгами?
I don't pay with money. I pay with something else.
Yes. It's pay with something else, like cake, ice cream, toys, and other.
Yes. And what about you, Vasily? Do you pay with money, or do you pay your children to do homework?
I don't pay my children for work because my son is 5 years old.
Okay. But even 5 years old also needs money already.
No, because he don't make
Doesn't make work.
Don't help me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he helps you. Who helps who? Who helps? Your son helps you? Or you help your son?
I help him.
So you're not going to pay him if you are the one doing the helping, right?
How old is your son? Is he, Vasily, is he 5 years old? How old is your son?
Василий, сколько твоему сыну?
Yes, my son is 5 year old.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So he's very young. Okay, so I still have to ask my family these questions about punishment, but I would be very curious to know what happens in Russian families. So notice Vasily's answers. Vasily, could you tell us how various people punish their children? What answers did you find?
I don't know. I don't understand.
That's fine. I'll repeat. So you have 4 answers here. And I see that some of them had just one person and some of them had a couple people. Who were the people that answered these questions? Who forbids?
My employer in my department.
Ah, is the
And they have family.
yes, and so they have various answers. What do you think, Svetlana, Yelena, Sergey? How do you punish a child for disobedience? Let's start with Yelena.
I don't know punish my daughter.
Yes. So there is no punishment. Is she very good, or you don't like to punish?
Трудно сказать.
Difficult to say.
It's hard to say.
Difficult to say. But punish, наказывать. How do you, Lena? How do you punish your daughter? She's 24 years old, right?
That's true.
Maybe
6.
Yeah.
When your daughter was 6.
Now, for she is washed close computer and internet.
Yes. Yes. She would lose her computer, internet. And what about you, Sergey?
No, I'm too. It's запрещать.
I forbid. Forbid? I think that's right.
I'm forbid to my children computer, мультики.
Oh, cartoons.
Cartoons.
Yes.
And I don't
Buy.
And don't buy to him ice cream.
Oh. No sweets.
But
No sweets, no, yeah, no butter, no extras. It's clear that we live in a technological age. It's clear.
And Svetlana wrote that she forbids her children to use the computer again.
Yeah.
So, like computer deprivation.
Children feel that the most.
Computer is a universal means.
Punishment.
What about Lena? I think when your daughter was 6, it was the pre-internet time, right? There was no internet 18 years ago in Russia, at least. I think anywhere. Lena, do you remember how did you punish your daughter when she was a small girl?
I don't know.
Yeah, usually, like, you will not go to, like, somewhere, like, to the park. You will not go with us to outside of the city for a picnic. Yeah.
More best does is no going to street.
Yeah, right. That was very serious
No.
punishment. Really, I remember that. Yeah, no playing in the yard with friends, or going home earlier, раньше, да, earlier, yeah. Загнать домой, да, загонять домой, right? So that was very depressing. Yeah.
It is very depressing. I'm trying to think how I was punished when I was little. The worst punishment was a spanking. That's
Spanking?
a spanking.
Oh.
Like with a belt. But we didn't get hit with a belt. There was a special stick, and that was the only purpose. My father made it. It was an oak rod.
Oh.
It did not happen very often, but it was the worst punishment.
I think I was spanked only once by Venik. Venik? Like, maybe do you know what Venik is?
No.
Like a bunch of twigs.
Oh.
People use like in the
in the sauna.
Russia. Yeah, no, in sauna, not in sauna. No, Venik is used, well, to sweep the floor.
Oh, yes. Oh my. My father made an oak rod, and it was called the spanker. And he would say, if we were being very bad, he would say, "Do I need to get the spanker?" And usually, if he said, "Do I need to get the spanker?" we would say no, and we would stop.
Спенка, это интересно, как перевести. Шлепник. Где-то. Мне пойти за шлепником, да?
I need to get the spanker. Oh dear. But you may have forgotten, Svetlana and Yelena, Vasily, Sergei, that I have 4 siblings. I have 4 siblings, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and we all would play together. And sometimes we would get into a lot of trouble. So for Vasily, it's a soldier's belt. Ouch. I hope only the leather part. Leather. Does everyone understand leather? Leather.
Кожа.
The buckle is the metal part.
Mm-hmm. An interesting word that Abby used, the word siblings. There is no equivalent in the Russian language.
Братья, сестры, как-то.
Да,
Нет.
получается так. Все вместе. То есть это может быть, ну, как бы родные братья и сестры, вот так.
Только.
Да. В немецком языке тоже есть Geschwister, да, Geschwister.
Yes, true, it is in
Да,
German. I had
тоже,
forgotten
да,
that.
тоже
Yeah.
вот, в одном слове сразу может быть и брат, и сестра, как бы братья и сестры.
But not
Интересно,
French.
что в русском нету, да.
Yeah.
В французском нету, да. Мгм.
And the other word that was that showed up in Vasily's answers was to be put in a corner, but you can also call that to be in a time out. So you had to have a timeout, or to have a timeout.
What does it mean,
It
Vasily?
means that you had. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So it was Vasily who mentioned.
It is. It is Vasily who mentioned that. It was his
Exactly.
third answer.
Put in a corner.
Yes.
But Abby, in America, do parents put children in a corner?
Some parents. I got put in a corner.
Okay.
When I was not very bad. When it wasn't bad enough for a spanking, but I was being maybe my brothers and I were running around the house in a circle, and we wouldn't stop running. Then we had to sit in a timeout, and it was in a corner. There were 2 corners. My brother and I got put in different corners. It was on either side of the kitchen stove. So on either side of the kitchen stove, there were 2 corners, and we would have to sit in opposite corners.
When you stay in corners, you can only stay and maybe sit.
We had to sit. And sometimes we were very bad because it's the stove. So there's a little space behind the stove, and we would peek in the corner at each other. And we had a little marble, and we would throw it back and forth. So do you know what a marble is?
Marble? Мраморный камень.
Is that what a marble is? A little marble? A little round marble?
Ну, это странно,
Like a glass,
что-то.
it's a glass marble. Like what children play with. Marble.
Нет, наверное, это что?
Играли, что ли, во что-то?
Типа, как это может называться? Marble. Сейчас посмотрим.
It's glass. It's very small and round, and you can play with them. Children play with
Горох,
them.
наверное.
Ну, это стеклянные шарики.
Yes.
Стеклянный шарик, так, да, маленький шарик, стеклянный шарик. Такие незатейливые игры у американцев в детстве. Стеклянный шарик, да.
Here's a picture. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Copy. I'll share it. Here's a see the pictures. You can play with them. And they roll very well. So we would roll the little marble back and forth behind the stove. And then we had to sit there longer.
For behind the stove. Stove, печка, да?
Yes.
Печка, плита.
More of a plita than pечка.
Плита, да,
Yeah.
плита. Okay.
So there are no marbles in Russia?
Now,
Children?
there are
Now
marbles.
there are?
In Russian, no marble.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in Russia, many other
Many
interesting
other
things.
things, of course. Matryoshka, I would have loved to have a doll when I was little.
But Matryoshka Abby is for tourists.
I
For
know.
tourists.
But they're so beautiful. I know
But
they're
no.
for tourists.
Yes.
No more play in Matryoshka.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matryoshka is not toy. It's a souvenir.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
It's only souvenir.
When I was a child, I thought it was a toy. When I was little. What about free time? So there were some really interesting answers. Somebody goes on fishing trips with their children. What do you do with your children? So we see what Vasily, what do you do with your son? Which of these answers is yours?
I walk for the on the school. On the territory.
Uh-huh. You take walks in the territory or in the region? I'm not sure. So territory might be some interesting words. Do you take walks? Yes, you take walks with him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
And where is this territory? Territory is a very general word. Is it a specific place?
It is territory close to home and very big.
So is it nature or are there houses and streets?
It is sport area.
Sport area.
Ah. So, what type of sport?
What?
What type of sport? What kind of sport?
I on the bench, and my son right on back.
On the back?
Bike.
Oh, on your back. Oh!
Back or bike? Василий. Back or bike?
Bike.
Bike, okay. He rides on his bike, yeah. Ooh, I would enjoy that. I like riding my bike.
Bikes are very popular now in Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Omsk at least. More and more people ride bikes in the city.
For transportation or for leisure or for exercise?
I think for leisure, exercise, and for transportation.
All of them, all of the above.
Yeah, I think so. There is no such infrastructure like in America or in Europe. We don't have these special roads for bikes, and we don't have this, как это по-русски, велосипедная стоянка, да, говорится? Как это?
Bike lanes?
Bike lanes? Lanes. Bike lines?
Lanes.
Lanes.
Many
Bike
places
lanes,
in America. Or you mean specific?
I know. No, when you bike lanes and also
bike routes, maybe, or
where you
special
leave your bike
paths. Oh, right.
near the shop,
of course.
and you can walk
you don't
it.
have bike. Oh, what do I call those? I should know this. I think about this a lot.
По-русски тоже это.
Bike rack. A bike rack.
Bike rack.
Because it looks like a rack.
Решетка, да, куда привязывают велосипед, да, bike rack.
Bike rack, yeah. Well, many places in America don't have bike racks, bike lanes, bike routes like they do in Europe. A few places do, and maybe more will, but I don't know. It's when I lived in Austin, Texas, there were many people who rode bikes to work, a very large number. And now that I live in St. Louis, there are not as many people. And so it's a little harder. It's harder to ride a bike in a city if you're commuting to work by bike. If you commute to work by bike, it's harder in a city where there are fewer bikers because drivers forget to look for cyclists. So it is more dangerous when you ride your bike on the street.
So Vasily goes with his son, who rides a bike. Yeah.
Do any of you ride bikes, Svetlana, Sergey, Елена.
Children have bicycle все-таки, наверное. Байк это мотоцикл тоже, наверное, отношения имеет. My children, my daughter, very like to walk at a bicycle. But
Yeah.
I don't can.
But you don't what?
I don't know.
How
Sorry,
to?
I cannot to walk with bicycle.
You can't ride a bike?
Cannot. I was little. My parents not buy.
Yes.
Me.
Yes. Yes.
And I begin to learn go to bike at 25 years.
Yes.
I don't learn.
Yes. You tried to learn when you were 25 and it was hard? And what about you, Yelena?
I have a bike, but now use very little.
Yes. Just for fun? Just for leisure? When do you use your bike now? You said you use it very little.
Какого цвета?
Нет.
Где научилась ездить? I live in suburb in house my parents and next farewell Poland, and I very often go to the bike with my father.
Yes.
That's how you learned to ride a bike, right? And what about now? When do you use your bike now? Lena?
What?
Must.
Now I use my bike very, very little.
Yes.
When I have a pleasure,
Yes, when I have leisure time, when I have leisure time.
Leisure.
Time for yourself to relax. Yeah. Well, I think I got distracted with bikes instead of children. Oops. Does anyone draw or play board games with their children? Yelena probably doesn't now, since her daughter is 24. But Sergey, you have young children, yes?
Yes.
Do you ever draw or play board games with them? Look at the, so Vasily found that there were some people he knew who draw and play board games with their children. What about you?
Board games. Настольная игра. I play with my children. Usually I play with my son in computer games and and all.
And usually it's computer games.
Yes.
Do you have one child?
No, I have a two child, son and daughter.
I thought that might be true.
But my daughter play without me.
Oh, how sad. I am curious. This is a question for everyone, for Svetlana and Vasily and Sergey and Yelena. Do you ever tickle your children? I was at home this weekend, and I was speaking with my father, and we were talking about when I was very little. And he reminded me that he used to tickle us. Do you understand the word tickle? Tickle. I have no idea how to say this in Russian, Kostya. Do you know what I'm talking about? Tickling?
I think they will understand. Yeah.
Yes. So when you get your children under the arms, they go, oh! Do you ever?
Yes.
Yes. Do you ever tickle your children?
My children tickle to me.
Oh no! Svetlana's children tickle her. Sergey?
My children like when I tickle him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Vasily or Yelena? Yelena's daughter is 24, but when she was little, Yelena, did you tickle her?
I was the case.
Yes.
Was we left? Давно.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's been a
Long time.
long. Yeah. And Vasily,
My son.
you tickle your son? We would play a game, and my father would be the tickle monster. And he would catch us and tickle us. And if he caught my brother, I would try to rescue my brother. I would grab my brother's hand and I would pull him away. And my dad would grab me and he would tickle me. And we were talking about that. And that was one of the ways that my father played with us sometimes that we liked a whole lot. We really liked it when he was the tickle monster.
And you were tickle victims, right?
Yes, we were the tickle victims. We had to go on missions, like in a video game or somewhere, to save the poor tickle victim. Whoever was being tickled. Oh dear. It was a lot of fun. Oh my.
So maybe we can kind of wrap up.
Yes,
like,
I think
maybe,
so.
like what kind of do you see any tendencies maybe, or like is it possible to generalize a little bit? So what are maybe the most common answers and answers maybe? So mostly, what are the most common answers? Самые распространенные ответы, the most common answers to questions. So about the nursing homes, Svetlana, what is the most common answer?
So what?
About the nursing homes, the house of the aged.
No. Ни при каких условиях. No.
By no means. By no means.
Oh, no.
And I will post my answers, but I imagine that the tendency for Americans would say, it depends, but it's a hard question. That was what my husband said when I asked him.
So
and I think that would be common.
Yeah, предсказывает that Americans would say like, it depends, это зависит от обстоятельств.
Yeah. So what about paying children for work? What's the most common answer there?
Oh, 50-50. No, never. Yes, sometimes.
And what about in class? Let's see. Sergei doesn't pay money, but he buys maybe toys and gives candy and cake.
No, it's too water.
Yeah. So 50-50, I think Svetlana's right. 50-50.
It's vital, but as food.
Yes.
Not money, but barter.
Yes. And what about punishment? What was the most common answer for punishing children? What was the tendency?
Vasily. I think it was Vasily's question, right?
Yes, it was.
What is the most common answer about punishment?
Do not let the sleep.
Yes.
Yes.
There's two answers.
You say grounding in English. You're grounded. You're grounded. You can't go out. It's very strange for Americans too.
Да, в русском языке нету точного эквивалента.
It's an idiom.
Да.
It's just I don't know where it came from. You're grounded. You can't go out. Yeah. And we had, and for spending time with children. What were I forget what, Sergei, you play video games with your son, right?
Yes.
And Svetlana, you don't play video games. Did you go for walks? Do you go for walks with your children?
No, I don't to walk with my children.
Mm-hmm.
They can walk without me.
Oh, they walk without you, yes. So still, walk.
I take the park, play to Monopoly.
Okay, so we should add an answer on number. We should add a +1 to playing board games to this answer for you. Yeah. And so I forget what Yelena did with. Yelena, what did you do with your daughter when she was small?
I was making house for dolls and set dress for dolls.
Oh, so you made doll clothes for her and played dollhouse with her. So the answer still probably, even for class, the most popular answer was the one that Vasily found, going for a walk. Yeah. And then we didn't talk about the last question, who to leave children with. But, yeah, so I think that we see that even though there are some general tendencies, like Svetlana is always saying, there's variety among Russian families.
I don't understand this question.
It was a statement. It was a statement. Oh, sorry. Like you said, Svetlana, when we looked at the answers that each of you had, you each had slightly different answers. Vasily had one answer, Sergei had a slightly different answer. And so, like you said, we see that in class there are differences, even though there may be some general tendencies, like we see in the answers. That Vasily pointed out that 3 people like to go on walks with their children. So that's a tendency, but there are still differences. Except with nursing homes. There's almost no difference among Russian families about nursing homes. There is almost only one answer, no, which I think that's a good thing.
And there are 2 more tendencies, like if the child needs to be at home, with whom you can leave it.
Yeah.
Grandparents, 5 answers. That's interesting.
Oh, right, yes. Basically no difference. No difference.
And another one is about family responsibilities. That's what Lena posted.
Mm-hmm.
So a general, like a tendency, like a man should make money, do some house repairing, car repairing, and women should parent babies and cook and decorate the flat.
Yeah.
So it's also a tendency.
That's true. I missed those. 3 big tendencies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can ask the same to our American counterparts.
I'll ask them all of the questions and I'll post the answers.
And that would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
Especially this very clear tendency. 5 people said grandparents. And well, again, like Svetlana said, it's very different. Of course, like for example, it's not typical for my family. We don't usually leave our children with grandmothers. And I think about like the last thing, like house repairing. I usually don't do very much of house repairing,
Mm-hmm.
and well, very often my wife can call to the car service and get the car there, and I cook. I think I cook half of the time. My wife cooks, half of the time I cook. So, well.
You have a very strange Russian family, Kostya.
Yeah, but it's different, like Svetlana said. Again, yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a tendency.
There are tendencies.
But we have differences. Yes.
Yes. And then some variation.
Right, variations. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's good. It's good to know tendencies, like right, so that we can predict maybe sometimes. Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much for the interesting comments. I've really enjoyed reading through all of these.
Молодцы,
yeah,
вообще, прямо.
it's been very good questions.
Yeah. Maybe we can also. I think Svetlana exchanged some comments with one of the American teachers on with the land side. Maybe we can ask him. Yeah, he's a school teacher, EB, right?
Yeah.
EB, and
we could
maybe
we could ask.
Maybe you can also ask him some.
So we have a little bit bigger sample.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That was great. So, yeah, we have the next class on Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And maybe you can, maybe we can finish this topic with this extract of the film "Everybody Loves Raymond." Maybe if you write your comments.
Mm-hmm.
And вы еще не писали еще комментарии вы по Реймонд видео? По-моему, Эбби, yeah.
Impressions. What I would like you to discuss. So I will clarify.
Да, Эбби уточнит вопросы, и может быть в этот раз вы сделаете аудиокомментарии, давайте, потому что мы по этой теме еще аудиозапись не делали, а вы ответите на вопросы Эбби в форме аудио, да, записи, мы послушаем. То есть Эбби напишет более точные вопросы к этому кусочку, и вы ответите на них.
And if my questions are unclear, please email Kostya or me, and we can try to clarify. But
yeah, or you can write in the blog, like if you don't understand the question, just
can you clarify?
Can you clarify that? All right.
All right. Does that sound okay?
Fine.
Okay. Great. It was good to see all of you today. We'll see you Wednesday then.
Okay.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
They're getting much better at using the technology.
What?
They're getting better at
right.
the audio and video and coming into class and leaving class.
I think I will have a closer look maybe at the chat and point out maybe